honoring a hero, Sergeant Cory Maynard. Eyewitness News special coverage starts right now.
This is the last call for Unit 312. No answer for Unit 312. 10-7, 10-42. Sergeant Cory Maynard, rest in peace, brother. We will take it from here. Troop 5, clear.
Hundreds of law enforcement officers from across West Virginia, Kentucky, and further coming together today at Mingo Central High School to pay their respects to West Virginia State Trooper Sergeant Cory Maynard. Maynard was killed in the line of duty on Friday during an ambush as he was responding to a shooting call. We have team coverage of this for you tonight with Daniel Burbank live outside of the high school where services were held today.
And Hannah Klein is in Williamson as we wait the procession that will take Sergeant Maynard from Mingo to Chapmanville.
Gina, Anthony, we've seen state troopers from Kentucky, Tennessee, as far away as New York coming out to support the West Virginia state troopers and Maynard's family. The City of Logan Volunteer Fire Department draped an American flag over the entrance of Mingo Central High School. For hours, we've heard stories from families, sheriffs, and several state troopers. Sergeant Maynard is being remembered not how he died, but how he lived. People told us Sergeant Maynard was a family man, now leaving behind a wife and 2 children.
You know, they tell you when you start this career that you may not come home at the end of the shift, but that your goal is to finish your shift so you can go home to your family and loved ones. And unfortunately, a fact of life is that Cory is not going to get to do that.
Even though Sergeant Maynard's heart has stopped beating in West Virginia, he's still saving lives. He donated tissue that can help save 75 people. Last Friday, his body was brought to Pittsburgh, where heart valves, veins, bones, skin, and much more can be donated within 24 hours after death. The surgery center told Eyewitness News Monday, in life, Cory was a wonderful dad and a proudly and courageously served the state of West Virginia as a state trooper. Now in death, he has continued that heroic legacy, making a far greater contribution to this world than most of us can ever hope to make ourselves. Maynard's uncle says the amount of support that everyone has given to the family is just amazing.
Hannah Klein, who is lined up in Williamson as that procession is making its way through town any minute now. Hannah.
Sergeant Maynard's death has stunned not only West Virginia State Police, but law enforcement nationwide as this community has come together to show prayers and support. Now let's talk a little bit about this procession before it comes through. Well, the public is starting to line up right now. We're in downtown Williamson on Harvey Street.
I hate to keep the shirt off his back. He really would. But anybody that knows Cory knows that. Like I said, he's a really good guy.
And you can feel the heartbreak in the air here in town. Maynard worked for the West Virginia State Police for over 15 years.
Sergeant Maynard was raised not far away from there in Belfry, Kentucky, and graduated from Belfry High School 20 years ago.
And those who knew him in high school say back then he was laying the foundation of helping others. Eyewitness News reporter Gil McClanahan is in Belfry, Kentucky with more tonight.
Cory Maynard is being remembered as a respectful, well-liked student who graduated from Belfry High School in 2003. The flag at Belfry High School flies at half-staff in honor of West Virginia State Trooper Sergeant Cory Maynard, a graduate of the school who was killed in the line of duty.
To think, when I seen him at the old high school, I never dreamed, anything like this would ever happen to the young man or anything.
Thank you, Gil. And there was a solemn start to Governor Jim Justice's administration briefing today before giving several announcements. Visibly emotional Justice took a moment to mark the passing of West Virginia State Police Sergeant Maynard.
I salute in every way all the brave men and women that run to the fire all the time.
We are seeing a large outpouring of respect and just honoring Maynard during this time. As we look here on social media, we've seen certain people taking photos and videos from the procession. We're also seeing even at a Lowe's in the Logan area, we're seeing that they have a display of respecting Sergeant Maynard there, honoring him and the loss to the community as everyone in this area is paying their respects and going into Logan County where, of course, that procession will be ending. And here's a view view from up top from our drone here today, as we have been getting video of Mingo Central High School. You can just see the magnitude of how many people are out there, from law enforcement to community members, everyone coming out along the campus there of the school to pay their respect. You can even see a bus being driven in, as we know people were being shuttled into that area there today. We're also watching the fundraising efforts today for Maynard's family. The GoFundMe page, it was set up 4 days ago and has a goal of $1 million to help his wife and 2 young children for their long-term financial needs. And just within the last hour, we've seen that mark go up to now $62,000 raised so far.
All of our coverage on the funeral services over on our social media platforms. We're also continuing our team coverage on honoring the life of Sergeant Maynard throughout the show, and coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock.
We're here outside the high school, and we can expect that hundreds and hundreds of law enforcement are here, and more than 1,000 people coming here to honor Cory Maynard. This is part of the family that is now making their way, the friends also, and now other members of other state patrols are now beginning to pull out of the Mingo Central parking lot. We see West Virginia State Patrol is still leading with their flashing lights as this procession begins to make its way through to Williamson. Folks are having some of the worst days of their lives, and these guys, meaning the State Patrol, are expected to be at their best. And that's the way that, Gina and Anthony, that's the way that we heard Sergeant Cory Maynard, is that he was always at his best.
And Daniel, you mentioned Georgia and New Jersey police presence there. Have you seen any other police presence from other states and other parts of the country?
Yes, Gina. We saw them as far away as California, as far north as New York. So the best way that it was described to me is anytime a tragedy of this magnitude, that's the way it was quoted to me, happens, it's the states and the troopers almost feel an obligation, because it is a tight-knit community, especially at this level of law enforcement.
Just an incredible turnout there. And that procession is making its way now to Williamson. That's where our Hannah Klein is. Hannah, what are you seeing right now?
I want to show you the support. So let's pan over here, and I want you to see exactly what we are looking at. Now, we're in Williamson. This is downtown Williamson. This is on Harvey Street. And let's just take a moment. I want to pan and show you exactly. Just in the last couple of minutes, hundreds of people have just flocked over on the street to pay their respects. And you can just feel the absolute heartbreak in the air here in town. Maynard worked for the West Virginia State Police for over 15 years. He leaves behind his wife and 2 children. But those who knew him well say he had a passion for his job and for the community. And again, I know Daniel was talking to you guys that the procession has begun. It'll be here around 20 minutes or so, but we will be sure to update you.
And so I know a lot of people throughout the Logan County area were saying, where can we come out to pay their respects? We've seen some people with the city of Williamson posting on Facebook today saying, if you want to go up to Fountain Place around there, you can kind of look down onto 119. That's a safe way to do that as well. There's lots of places where you want to be able to go off of the road, but still be able to look down and see that procession going through. As we just know, so many people have come out to really pay their respects today.
Yes, we'll be right back. Eyewitness News reporter Bob Aaron tells us Timothy Kennedy has an arrest record and a history of trouble.
29-year-old Timothy Kennedy of Beech Creek, seen here at his Tuesday bond hearing, has had his preliminary hearing moved from Thursday afternoon to Friday morning. The judge has named a different attorney than the one that represented him at the bond hearing to handle the preliminary hearing into Kennedy's murder charge in the shooting of West Virginia State Police Sergeant Cory Maynard. A circuit judge ordered him held without bond Tuesday and then sent the case back to magistrate court.
He was criminally charged with first-degree murder, and he's in the Holden Regional Jail at this point. There are some possible charges additionally that could come.
Those charges are linked to the earlier shooting that left Ben Baldwin wounded and brought troopers to Beech Creek, where they were ambushed, and what Kennedy did during the manhunt for him in Mingo County before his capture late Friday night. Kennedy has a fairly extensive arrest record, although many of the charges against him were later dropped. But he became known in the area after he was reported missing in 2020, only to be found by a mine rescue team days later, 400 feet inside an inactive coal mine in an area plagued by metal thefts.
Had he had some problems in the past or what? I don't want to speculate really, but yeah, he's been known to be in some trouble, yeah.
But not murder trouble until now. The standard of proof at this point is probable cause. And once that is met or waived by a defendant, the case can then move on to circuit court and a Mingo County grand jury.
Turning back now to the honoring of West Virginia Sergeant Cory Maynard. Here's a live look from our drone here from outside of the West Virginia troopers area there where everyone was honoring him. A live look right now in Williamson, Mingo County, as the procession for Sergeant Cory Maynard of the West Virginia State Police is now making its way through. As you can see, it is now crossing the bridge, heading over into Kentucky for a brief moment before it then goes up onto 119 on its way into Chapmanville. And we're seeing a tremendous response from not only all the law enforcement that will be coming through for several more minutes, maybe even an hour or so from now, but we can also see a lot of the people from the community coming out as well.